I got interrupted by AI. I'm with OUTFRONT along with my sales director, Lisa, who's on the call as well. And we're here to talk to you about out of home advertising, specifically with the RTC, who is our transit partner in the Valley. So if we can go to the next slide. So the first thing that we offer in our partnership with the RTC is static transit shelters. There's a few different options that you can have for advertising, but for this key point that I want to make, we're just talking about the single panels, that printed portion right there where it says WGU Nevada, and there's the owl. It kind of looks like a movie poster insert. And the RTC has over 5,000 individual shelter faces, and that includes the back panels and the single panels, and they're all varying sizes and dimensions that are spread throughout the Valley. But I believe for the purposes of this call, we're looking at more industrial or more business-focused areas. So if we can go to the next slide. This is just a map that showcases all of the little pink dots are where there are transit shelters available. So they're everywhere. In addition to that, we also manage their digital shelter network. And that is the smaller map on the right side of the screen where all the little purple dots are. So digital transit shelters are essentially that one printed movie poster is now basically an LED screen that flips through 8 rotations for 8 seconds on each flip, for a total of 64 seconds. So we can go to the next slide. So I put together 2 different packages that we can offer. I'm trying to minimize this so I'm not looking at blocking stuff off. Essentially what we're looking at for the single panels would be, we would offer them to you at a discounted space rate of $0. Typically, we do have a monthly space rate that we charge, and then there's the production price. That price is for printing and installing the movie poster, essentially. With digital, there is no production cost because it's a digital display, so it doesn't need to be printed and installed. So we have 2 different packages, keeping the price very, very low for a 6-month campaign. Ideally, with out of home, you want to have it up 6 months to a year. The longer that your campaign runs, the better, just because visibility and frequency of repetition just kind of helps it stick in individuals' minds. So we have 2 different packages, one for a starter campaign for $1,000 and the second one for $1,500. And then I do want to preface this by saying that the reason why the reason why we were able to offer the space rate at $0 is because it's considered space available bonus or preemptible space. If that space gets sold, it's most likely that we're just going to relocate the posters to a different location, the closest nearby location, but your ad will remain up for the contracted space. It's rare. It's actually impossible, I think, for us to sell out all 5,000 spaces. It would be nice and we're hopeful, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'm not worried about that. And then if we can go to the next slide. So I also included just a frequently asked questions page per the request of Zane. So is there a minimum that needs to be bought? No. We make recommendations based on the amount of money that an individual is looking to spend, the type of business that they are operating, and the campaign goal. That's typically how we start recommendations, but no, you can buy just one shelter face if that's all you want, or you can buy multiple and spread them out. Can you choose your shelter locations? Yes. All we need is a zip code or some cross streets that you're looking to stay within, and our charting coordinator will put together a map with locations. And then you can review that map and let us know which ones you want to add, remove, shift, or change. So how long does it take to get everything up and running? Typically, we want about a 2 to 3 week lead time. So that's from reviewing the list and seeing where everybody wants their shelters to be and their ads to run, confirming that everything is good, getting a contract in place and getting everything signed, making sure payment is in process, and then getting the artwork created, approved, and moving forward with printing and installation. That whole process, we want it to be about 2 to 3 weeks before your campaign actually is set to start. So what if you want to extend or buy more? That's great. You can reach out to myself or Lisa and we can talk about it, and we're happy to help you through the process and give you a better understanding of what that would look like. So what other advertising formats does OUTFRONT offer? So in addition to the RTC, we're the only contracted advertising partner for the RTC. So we manage all of their transit advertising. This includes the buses, which have various sizing of advertising on them. The paratransit vehicles that take individuals for the paratransit service to and from appointments and services that they want to run, or going to the grocery store, things like that. We also offer billboards, both vinyl and digital. And then we offer the digital ads served on mobile devices. It's called mobile advertising, but I wanted to preface that by saying it as digital ads served on mobile devices, because here in Las Vegas, there is mobile advertising that runs on the strip. That's not us. So these are your ads that kind of pop up when you're reading an article and you're scrolling and there's a bit of a banner ad in the middle of that article. That's what this ad would look like. Or you're on your laptop, you're scrolling and you see an ad at the bottom of a page. You're reviewing the weather in your mobile app and you see a banner at the bottom. That's what those ads look like. So what do I need to provide to you, to us at OUTFRONT? We will need a signed contract, we'll need artwork files, and we will provide the specs that you need for whatever format you're moving forward with, and then payment for production. And then for this particular setup and these contracts, these proposals that I put together, what we put together is a 6-month space available bonus or preempt space. So essentially that means your campaign will run in the space that you chose unless it's sold. And then at which point your campaign, that specific location, may relocate to the nearest location that's available. The next slide. Perfect. So why transit ads? Because out of home, it works, and that includes transit ads. You may not think that it works for you, but there is something that fits for everybody, and there's a reason why everybody does out of home. That includes billboards, that includes transit and transit shelters, buses, things like that. It just works. That frequency of reach and visibility, it's there. I included a couple of statistics that our marketing team pulled in the 2024 out-of-home update. 88% of adults have seen an out-of-home ad in the past 30 days, and over 85% of adults look at out-of-home ads. And if you think about it, I mean, we're blasted with ads on social media, in videos, when we're watching streaming, we can't get away from them. And when you're out of the house and you're not like staring at your phone, you're driving, you're looking around, you're seeing things like the billboards, you're seeing things like the buses. I'm pretty sure everybody on this call has recognized Glenn Lerner or Demopolis or Knockbeat, whose faces, they're plastered everywhere, all over the billboards, all over the buses, all over everything. They do it because it works. And it's 7 times more, it leads to 7 times more social activations than any other format. It's over 76% took action on their phone after seeing an out-of-home ad. And when paired with something like the digital ad served on mobile devices, they're 48% more likely to click on that virtual ad after seeing it on a bus shelter, or a billboard. So if we can go to the next slide, I think that should be a little bit about the mobile campaigns. So here I just included a visual representation. This is actually a client from last year that ran an e-bike campaign, and he paired shelters with mobile ads, and it increased his sales for the time that he ran his campaign, which is, ironically, he ran it for the worst time possible in Las Vegas, as everybody on this call knows, being a local here. He got a late start and ran it through July and August, and it was a heat wave situation, so that made it even worse. But he actually had a handful of people come into his store from the mobile ads after seeing the bus shelters. They were delivered the mobile ads and redirected, and then went in and rented bikes during the middle of a heat wave. So it definitely works. If you could click on the next slide. So often the question that we get with mobile is how exactly do these ads present? So I included a list of our over 100,000, this is just a sample poll, 100,000 partner apps, and we have over, I think it's 6,000 partner websites. But included here, you can just see kind of a snippet of it. Essentially, you're reading an article on BBC News or ABC News or BuzzFeed, and you're scrolling in the mobile app or scrolling, reading around, and then you'll see that banner ad in the center on the bottom of the article. So if we can go to the next slide. This is just a sample of these over 6,000 partner websites that our ads run on. And we have a great mobile team. They pair your ad with what matters. So they're not going to, if let's say you are a mom and pop, shop that sells, baby supplies, right? You're a small business that just sells, baby blankets and things for, new mothers. They're not going to put your ad on ESPN.com because that just doesn't fit. So we have a wide range of partners that we work with to make sure that your ads end up exactly where they're supposed to. So if we can go to the next slide. That was all I had, and I will now take questions. If anyone has any.
Yeah, I guess this discounted price we are getting, is it like a one-off thing to fill out the, or is this going to be like a repeated thing, like beyond the first 6 months?
I think it will depend on the overall campaign goals that you have, but right now we are supporting RiSE and supporting the RTC and their program. So it's definitely guaranteed for the 6 months. But if anybody is interested in extending beyond that, we can talk about it at that point.
Thank you.
You shared a little bit about the web-based campaigns. The 6 months is awesome. We have never done any marketing or advertising ourselves ever. So did for the online ones, is that part of the program, or is that just general information if we wanted to look at OUTFRONT for other source?
That's general information, so that we cannot offer any discounts on, but I will say it is one of our most affordable approaches to advertising for out of home. It's sold at a $9 CPM. That's cost per 1,000 impressions that are guaranteed to be delivered. So for a $1,500 spend, and you can spread those impressions, you can bang them out in 3 weeks, or you can spread them out across 6 months. I've had clients do both, what you're looking at for your specific campaign goals. But for that, you would get, I want to say, over 660,000 impressions.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
In terms of the RTC transit shelters that are available, I'm assuming there are your hotspots like the ones on the strip. So can you talk a little bit about like which ones are more favored or taken and not available right now for this program?
So the way we approach advertising in general for OUTFRONT, and in particular with the RTC media that's available, the buses and the shelters, it's split into two approaches. We're either targeting the strip corridor, so tourists, or you're doing general market, which is everything else. Typically, when we're looking at rate card and what we would normally charge and full price, the strip is going to be a higher cost just because of the higher volume and influx of people. But depending on what your business is and what your needs are and who you're looking to target, we might not recommend the strip because it might not be a good fit for you. If there is a specific convention that may be coming up that you're looking to target for hyper target for like a few days or for a week or something like that, we can talk about that. But I feel like for the purposes of most of the people that are on this call, they're looking to be really a part of the Las Vegas community, which is separate. That would be that general market, less so the tourist corridor.
Thank you. And do we have to provide our own designs for the coasters?
Yes, yeah. And we have specs that are easy to follow for sizing, and we have a great production manager who will run it through and provide proofs in advance. So they're not just going to print something and you're going to end up with a poster that is blurry and doesn't look great and you didn't realize in advance and you've paid all this money up front. They will send proofs for approval and let you know if things are not looking right.
We do have an in-house creative agency that you can use at an additional cost. If you need that, just reach out to us and we can put you in touch with them. And they do really great stuff. So we do have that as an option at an additional cost.
Thank you.
So I have another one over the 6 months. I know initially we can pick and kind of plot or kind of figure out our best areas. Can we stick and move over the course of those 6 months? Are we allowed to jump around into different areas, or is it just the rotating spots in those 6 months?
So it would most likely stay in the same spot unless the spot is sold to a paying advertiser for the space who's paying for the space itself. And we typically don't like to move the shelters around too much because it is a thinner material that's just kind of clipped up inside, and taking it down and putting it back up and taking it down, you run the risk that something's going to be torn, something's going to be damaged, something's going to be ruined. Our team is great about relocating them, once or twice if need be, but after that, we want to kind of keep them in the same place. So ideally, it'll just stay in the same place that it's originally slated to be in. Do we have any other questions? So I don't think there's any other questions, but of course, you'll have our contact information. So if you want to reach out separately, more than happy to set up calls with anybody and answer any questions that you may be too shy to ask in front of the group, which is totally fine because that's how I am too. But there is no such thing as a stupid question because I didn't know anything about advertising when I started here, and I learned so much, and it's been a ride from start to finish. So I have no problem walking any of you through the process of anything you may need help with.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I've been having problems with the audio in and out since the beginning on my end. Can't figure it out. But I missed the whole part on the pricing. Is there somewhere I could go and check that out instead of
Yes.
so you won't have to repeat it all?
Yeah, we're going to provide, we did 2 different packages for, I think it was for 1,000 and for 1,500, but we'll provide that to you afterwards. So you'll have that, the whole presentation deck as well as the recording.
Okay, appreciate that.
I think she's actually pulling it back up for me right now. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So the 2 different packages, basically for the 1,000, you're looking at both of these are for 6 months. But for the 1,000 spend, you would get 10 individual single panels and then 3 different digital units to run a flip on. For the $1,500 spend, you would get 15 individual single panels and 5 digital shelter units to run a flip on.
I have a quick question. So for the firms that do either of these packages, are the mobile ads separate Is that a separate package altogether?
The pricing would be, I would work with them on what they're interested in looking to spend. So if you want to, let's say, add in $500 towards mobile, I can include that into the pricing. So it would be $1,000 for the base package for 10 shelters plus 3 flips, and then it would be an additional $500 on top of that in the same contract for mobile. And you can apply those mobile impressions to the 6-month campaign that you're running on the transit shelters. I would recommend doing that. And for mobile, we just need a few factors as far as zip codes and if you're looking to target specific individuals, because we can get a little bit granular in how we target with mobile.
Okay. I just wanted to ask for my own clarity and for any of them, because those mobile ads are those ads that are popping up when people are on the standard apps they use on their phones, right? Or browsing Google or browsing Facebook, those ads that come up. So that's
Correct.
just another place that their business could be.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Thank you.
We do not partner with Instagram, Facebook, or Facebook because they do their own, just so you guys know, because we get asked that a lot, but there's literally thousands of ads and apps that we can get into.
This is true. I forgot about the Meta growth going on and all of their different ad placement, but just trying to make sure everybody understood that idea of those mobile ads. It's outside of the shelters completely.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, I think we can let our guests and our hosts reclaim their time. And as we mentioned, we will share the recording from this video with everybody here today, as well as the rest of our certified firms for anyone who missed it. And we'll, I think I heard permission to share you ladies' contact information in our post-event email so that if anybody has any questions, they can reach out directly. But we do hope that anybody who decides to take advantage of this opportunity, share a little note with the RiSE team, send us a picture of your ad at one of the shelters so we can keep that in our records too and promote that in some way.
Sounds great. Thanks for having us today.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Thank you.